Boy, talk about redemption. 25 years ago, a guy named John Cappas was a cocky punk. He was brash and full of cash, a fleet of limos, a Playboy model girlfriend. He was Mr. Big Shot, a drug kingpin in Chicago. He was moving kilos of cocaine every week, making about $100,000 a month. Well, then came 15 years of prison and reflection and some maturity. Well, today, he's a businessman in Chicago, and he counsels kids not to tread the tough guy path of crime and money. And he counsels businessmen as well. He writes about it all in his book called Tall Money. Well, John, when you were a 19, 20-year-old low-life living the high life, what'd you think? It was just going to go on forever?
No, Bill, it was a way to get out of debt. I smashed my car. My father was upset with me. I wasn't going to college. And the way things went, things kept thrown in my lap. Someone I grew up with was living in Florida when he was a kid, and all of a sudden we're getting these kilos for crazy prices. And
it was easy money, and you liked the big tough guy image.
Well, yeah, to an extent. You know, the movies, you know, the gangster movies and all that, 19-year-old kid with no brains, that's what happens.
Yeah. Well, what changed you then? Was it a 45-year prison sentence?
No, it was, you know, I'm Greek. My parents, you know, my mother was like, John, I raised you better than this. And, you know, to go home and see how upset she was. And then some of the Greeks I looked up to were like, John, you know, you're hurting kids. And, you know, I wanted to have a family of my own someday. And I'm like, I got to get out of this.
So maturity, it sounds
exactly,
like.
Yeah.
So you talk to businessmen, you talk to entrepreneurs. What do you tell them?
You know, like before I bought the weenie wagon, I was in the car business.
That's your business. It's a hot dog stand.
It's a hot dog stand. And to be at the top, you've got to shoot for the top. So when I was in the car business, I was paying out of my pocket to go to these Joe Verde seminars. And then motivational, you know, here's the top pros in the industry telling you how to close deals, be good on the phone, be an excellent manager as far as motivate your staff. And then, you know, I get to the weenie wagon, I've taken the college courses and the culinary courses I took when I was away. And everything coupled together, I look at it like, how can I be the best in my industry, you know? So I'll pit suppliers against one another. I had Vienna beef and Red Hot Chicago.
So you love being a businessman.
Oh,
I
can't. It's great.
It sounds like it's just two different people.
Yeah, the kid's dead from 19. Now, 19-year-old John Cappas is dead, never to come back. I mean, now, to me, I get out of bed and I'm always trying to figure out, you know, how I'm going to be better and set myself apart from everyone else around me. What
do you tell your employees? You motivate them too.
Yeah, I tell them, you know, let's make the customers happy, number one. Let's not argue with the customers. If you make someone's sandwich wrong, don't take it
back. That's different from what you were. You'd bust somebody's
chops. No, I would
sometime.
never do that,
oh,
Bill.
Come on.
But you can't take a guy to small claims court back in the 80s. But I mean, it's like, does it make sense to argue with a customer? I'm like, no, let him keep the first sandwich, make him another one, and say you're sorry. And they're going to come back. You want to win the battle or you want to win the war?
John Cappas, Tall Money is the name of the book. John, thanks so much.
Thanks again, Bill.